but we had special guests in the college ranks here today, and that is Joe Pound, the head coach at St. John's River, and defending national champs, and now Junior College Division II South District Championship is getting underway here soon, and he joins us from down in Palatka. I think that's where you are because you're hosting this thing. Joe, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Brent. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Not as good as you, though. Heck of a year for coming off that national championship season. Got to be pretty proud of what you guys did, and man, you're rolling off a bunch of wins in a row, playing really good ball right now.
Yeah, no, we're playing with a lot of confidence, and getting into that time of year, we have some experience from last year, so things are going well. Girls are excited about the opportunity.
I was just talking about that in the high school level. You build a winner and you culture and you expect it, right? I mean, that kind of starts to matter this time of year. And how much did that national championship last year maybe breed some of the success that you guys are playing with right now?
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's like I told them early in the year that we're the defending national champion until someone takes it from us, right? So we should carry ourselves that way, and we should, play with confidence and walk around as a confident team.
How different are you guys this year versus last year? It looks like you can swing it like you did a year ago, but how different relative to that team where you really came on strong at the end of last year and made a great run into winning that national title?
Yeah, no, I mean, statistically, I think we're better, right? I mean, I think we're definitely deeper pitching. And the couple players we did lose last year that were really good players for us, we've replaced them with different types of players, right? I mean, Kendall Catherwood, who had a really high batting average, stole a lot of bases. And, we replaced her with Bailey Laguerre, who transferred to us from Western Nebraska, where she's hitting 390, I think, with 20 home runs, right? So she's added some power and that kind of stuff. Not the stolen base numbers, but we also have a freshman, Janelle Cruz, who's between the two of them, they've made up for the stolen bases, and we've added a ton of power.
That's the identity of your program right now, right? Obviously, you want to be able to pitch it and play defense, but I mean, you have kind of said you're basically, hey, we're going to bang it, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, our hitting philosophy is to hit doubles and home runs, right? I mean, that's, we want to go up, have really good swings, get the barrel, be on time and on plane, and get balls into the air and into the gaps.
This time of year, obviously you want to do it. Is it a little harder to rely on it when you get into this stretch of the season, and therefore what you've been able to do on the mound or in the circle, and then defensively that will come into play and maybe be a little bit more, on high alert? Yeah,
no, for sure. I mean, in the home, you can't count on the home runs, right? But the other day I think we played Lake Sumter. We had 13 hits, we had 8 doubles and 2 home runs. So
you'll take that every day.
Driving the balls into the gaps, I think, and it can kind of play throughout the season.
How much? So you guys get going here this weekend in a couple of days, and you're hosting. You have to win the state tournament. Now you host this regional. And how big a deal is that part of it, that you're hosting it at your own place?
Yeah, no, it's a big deal. I mean, it's, so far we're undefeated this season at home. I think our newspaper guy told me the other day we'd won 40-something games at home in a row dating back to last year. So,
wow.
I mean, it's a big deal, and it's a big deal for the community. I mean, we're in a small town. The community really supports us, and, we had really big crowds this past weekend, and looking forward to the same thing this weekend.
Well, by the way, if you want to go check out some St. John's River against Central Alabama at 6 o'clock on Friday night, Game 2 will be 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday, Game 3 if necessary. So do you like this format that you guys we're talking about formats in high school ball quite a bit. Do you like the format where you'll play a best of 3 against Central Alabama?
Yeah, no, I definitely like the best of 3 format. I think in a one-game situation, anything can happen, but, a 2 out of 3 series, I think at the end of the day, the best team's gonna win that.
What? Give us some more about some of your players. I know you guys have a bunch of accolades, and shout out a couple other ladies that have really helped you guys out this year. I know it's a whole team effort, but you got Players of the Year and all-conference team. Give us a little bit more about your squad.
Yeah, no, Princess Arredondo is Player of the Year this year. She's our single-season and career home run leader. She had 25 home runs last year. She's hit 22 this year, also hitting, I think she's hitting 508 right now with, I think, 5 or 6 strikeouts on the year. So big time power numbers and not very many strikeouts. Then we have Alyssa Valad, who's pitcher of the year. She threw 4 no-hitters throughout the season. She's also a hitter. She hit 19 home runs last year. She has 19 this year, and she's hitting about 440. We're super deep. I mean, offensively, we have a lot of players that can really swing it. Again, Janelle Cruz has come on strong. As a freshman, I mean, she's second on the team in hitting batting average as a freshman. I think she's hitting like 480. And Princess actually she got her 100th hit the other day. So
wow, in 2 years.
Yeah, no 100 hits this year.
100 hits this year?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant career hit.
No, she has 100 hits this year. Yeah, no, she's going to have between her and Alyssa Valad, they're going to have all the career offensive numbers.
Wow.
Based on those 2 years being here.
50-9 record, by the way. You've won 30 in a row. Does that scare you at all, that you're on such a winning streak?
No, I'm not a big believer in that, let's lose one and then get fired up again. I mean, to me, I tell them all the time, good teams find reasons to play hard no matter what kind of game it is. We did a little bit of live at bat stuff today, and we try to make that competitive as well.
Yeah, last year you guys won on a walk-off home. I mean, it's just unbelievable, the drama and everything, and how you got it done. When you get out of this state and now if you were able to get it out this weekend, how do you feel like your stuff during the year plays at that level? I mean, there's probably good junior college softball around the country, but I mean, how much does this get you ready this whole year of 59 games, mostly in the state of Florida, get you ready for that national landscape? Yeah, no, and I think it's our early on schedule. When we're playing the Division I JUCOs in Florida, you look at the rank. I mean, a lot about those with the Kmart playing at Daytona this year, but they have 7 or 8 teams ranked in the top 15 or 20, and we play those guys during our non-conference schedule, right? So I think the biggest thing for us last year was we get to the World Series, and yeah, there's some good teams around, but there's not a ton of competition, not a lot of depth there, and so we were used to playing that 5-3 game, 6-4 game, where a lot of those teams had kind of run through their regions and had a bunch of blowout wins, and really didn't get tested a lot. Yeah, by the way, I don't know why you didn't play Daytona State this year, but with your lineup, I'm kind of glad you didn't. We actually tried. We had when we had a couple games, TCC and State College of Florida dropped on us, so we tried to get them, but couldn't make it work there at the end. Do you feel like, obviously you've got a nice run with a group of these core players, but do you also feel like you kind of figured this out a little bit? And I know you never do. Every year change, but do you have like a recipe, whether it's recruiting, the style that we talk about, the kind of young lady you're looking for, like all that? Do you kind of feel like you're in a good place where you can duplicate some of the success moving forward, along with, obviously, some of this will recruit itself? Yeah, no, obviously, winning helps, getting some attention and, having players reach out to us from, all over the country, that kind of thing. But really for me, and even Callie Jones, our pitching coach, is, when we're out recruiting, we're not necessarily looking for the best players. We're looking for the players we think we can help get better, right? So obviously from an offensive standpoint, with, being able to hit doubles and home runs and that type of thing, there's certain things I'm looking for in players. And, sometimes I may pass on a player that's a really good player, like a slapper, for example, because I'm not good at that, right? And, I don't think it would be fair to that player for me to bring them in if my strengths don't match up with their strengths for helping them try to move on to the next level. So, we have I definitely have a type that I like, and just, being able to see some players on the recruiting trail that fit kind of what we're trying to do, and at least looks like someone that we can help get better. Because if we can't help them get better, then we're not going to be any good. Bill Pound, the softball coach of St. John's River, on the verge, hopefully, if they can win a best-of-3 series this weekend, heading back to the national championships. They are the defending national championship in Division II junior college softball, running off a 50-9 record so far this year, and back at it again. It's interesting to hear you say that. So much of this show, Coach, that we do and is trying to get some players looked at or more exposure or talk the game of softball and baseball. And the landscape has changed so much, we're all still trying to figure it out. But I think it's kind of cool to hear you say develop, because quite honestly, I don't know if people look at it that way anymore. I think so many people look at it as almost transactional, where it's like, hey, let's go get a player because we can, whether it's off the portal or anything else. I feel, is that the beauty of junior college right now, where you can still say, hey, we think we're going to have a player for 2 years. We can teach and develop and not maybe be threatened as much by the movement going on in other, whether it's Division I or Division II softball.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, development is what we want to do, right? And people get in. People talk about the transfer portal and all this kind of stuff, and the original transfer portal was junior college sports. Yeah, now it's moved on, and a lot of stuff has kind of changed that. But there's a lot of really good players that come out of junior college that now even some of these opportunities with the transfer portal are giving them a raw deal in some cases. But again, there's some really good players here. Players that come to us have a little chip on their shoulders. They want to develop. They want to get better. They want to get out there, and that's what we want. That's the players we want is players who feel like maybe they should have been somewhere better. I tell them all the time, if St. John's River was your dream school growing up, I don't want you. Right? We want you to come in and it becomes a really good option, right, when things happen, especially these days with the portal and those types of transactions going on. But yeah, no, the development part of it is what I love to do, and that's what makes us good is we have players that invest into that and want to get better.
All right, before we let you go, help us educate the kid watching right now, that high school softballer, maybe looks at St. John's River. You're very good the last couple of years. Where do they go after? And how does that work? Because this is probably the time, you don't know maybe exactly where everybody's going, because I think over the next month you probably will learn that a little bit more. But where have people gone from St. John's River? Even your national championship year, we know K-Ray and Kendall Catherwood. She went down to Florida International. Is having a great career down there at FIU, or a great season. So can you shed some light on what happens after junior college in the 2 years?
Yeah, no, and the best thing for me, the thing I like the most about junior college is we can recruit players with all types of ceilings, right? I mean, everything doesn't have to be Division I. So we have several Division II players, some NAIA players, that kind of stuff that have left here. I won't get specifically into where some of these girls are going because they're in the middle of negotiations and offers and that kind of stuff. But I mean, you're going to see 5 or 6 of these at some really good programs in the next year.
Yeah, so that's cool. So again, just from if you're a high school mom, dad, coach, and don't know much about the junior college system, trust me, I'm kind of learning about it this year too on the fly, a little bit different. So it's interesting to see how it works in today's landscape. We're all trying to figure out. All right, let's leave you with this. What do you know about Central Alabama? Like how much you haven't played them? How much scouting can you do? Have you done? What do they bring to the table? What are the challenges this weekend? Other than I assume they're a pretty good team if they made it to this point.
Yeah, no, and I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but I don't know much about them. Our thing. I talked to Coach Callie the other day. We have things that we do well that have been successful, and we want to scout ourselves more than the other team, right? Because I don't want to go in. We're going to take our best game into it, and we need to make some adjustments along the way. Then we'll do that, but. I don't want to go in doing something different based on who we're playing, especially in the JUCO world, where the regions and the landscape is very different in a lot of ways.
That makes some sense. By the way, you pretty healthy, or you feel pretty good about health of your team at this stage? That's always a question mark.
Yeah, no, we're knock on wood, we're good right now. Everybody's feeling good. We'll have another little light practice tomorrow, and then we'll get rolling Friday.
All right, Friday, 6 o'clock, and then game 2, 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. We'll keep an eye on the weather forecast. Hopefully that doesn't mess things up too much. And a game 3 later on Saturday. Coach Joe Pound from St. John's River, good luck. We'll be watching the Vikings close once again.
All right, appreciate it, Brett.
You bet. That is Joe Pound from St. John's River. Over the last couple of years, baseball and softball has gone to national championships, and softball won it last year in dramatic fashion. A couple of those players back, build a new team, and they've continued success, which, by the way, is not always easy to do at junior college level, because you kind of might build sometimes for, like, the freshmen come in and you build it into the sophomore, you have a nice year, but then you got to recycle it quicker than other schools, although other schools are now recycling at a faster rate than ever before.